At 212 Tax, we're not just tax preparers. We're tax, business, and finance strategists who help our clients not only save on taxes, but also grow their wealth. We really add value to taxpayers who are at least one of the following situations: income and/or property in at least 2 states, self-employed or business owners, people who have stocks, bonds, crypto, or real estate investments, or people who have income or assets outside the U.S. The thing is, most other accountants take on too many clients, just scramble to get the returns done for the deadline. Where myself, a CPA licensed in New York and Florida, who has been doing this for 17 years, I'm a tax specialist, I'm your tax consultant, I'm your tax planner, I'm not just your tax accountant, I'm not just preparing your returns. There's many accountants and accounting firms out there that don't stress the importance of monthly and quarterly bookkeeping, financials, having these meetings or Zooms. We stress that because we want to have you succeed. We want you to save on taxes and grow your wealth tax-free.
My previous accountant didn't file my taxes correctly. There were a lot of consequences to that, and I realized I needed somebody who would really work with me step by step on every aspect of filing. So I really looked to Anil to be that guidance and that expert for me, and he has been the last few years.
We don't want you to be bogged down with anything accounting, tax, or financial related. We want you to go out there and just be the rainmaker, bring in the business. You're probably gonna have to do a little bit of managing your employees and other things, but do what you're great at and let us do what we're good at. And with the right partnership, it's a win-win.
When I found Anil and his team, it was a better pivotal time in my business because I was coming from another accountant that did not know what they were doing. And for me, a busy business owner, a mom of 2, there's a lot of things that I don't have time for. And it's nice to know that if something would occur, you never know what's going to flag on your taxes, but it's nice to know that you have this team that's not going to say, oh, well, you're on your own. It always felt like they were going to be there to handle it. And in my world, one of the best things about being a business owner is knowing how to delegate things and not do things yourself and say, okay, they're going to handle it. And it's been worth the investment, just that alone.
If you want to find an accountant and you want to spend your money to hire a company for their services, you want to make sure that they do everything as much as possible. You know what I mean? You want to feel good about where your money's going and who's working on your behalf, and they've done that. They've been freaking troopers.
Sometimes it's a good idea to use a do-it-yourself tax software because you have a fairly simple return and there's really no way to save on taxes. So again, why pay a CPA? Why pay a tax accountant? Just enter this data carefully, review it, and submit the return. But sometimes it's not so great. Like, for example, we had a client come to us recently. They thought they can go to the higher level of TurboTax, which is the one where you have a live CPA and all that. And they submitted all the K-1s and documents to them. And then the day before the deadline, the TurboTax CPA came back and said, sorry, this is out of our wheelhouse. So again, if we're taking you on as a client, we've reviewed all your documents and we know we can get it done by the deadline. Otherwise, we're gonna tell you we can't, or we're not gonna take you on. So again, the softwares are good, and AI and all these different technologies are good for certain things, but a lot of things it's worth using a professional for. Speak to a CPA and or a tax attorney, lawyer, financial advisor, insurance specialist. Speak to these professionals. If you want us to introduce you to our network, we're happy to, and then plan it properly and get it done right before the deadline. We see a lot of returns that were self-prepared on these do-it-yourself softwares, and they just were not right for that type of return. There was issues on the return, whether it's K-1s, multi-state, where that software cannot handle it. And we see, well, we need to amend, or we need to really clean this up fast before you get a notice from the IRS asking for more information or denying your refund.
As I was researching this back and I realized I hadn't paid New York taxes in 10 years, I looked back and I normally file my taxes myself, and I use TurboTax, and that's probably why I didn't get caught. So when I said I was researching, and I was actually using Google Gemini. And Gemini was very, very helpful in explaining to me how the New York tax law works, and in fact helped me find 212 Tax and Anil. But here's the thing, just like TurboTax, Gemini did not catch that my 1099s were Massachusetts 1099s, and it didn't matter whether I paid New York or not. Anil is the only one who caught that.
One of the advantages to working with our firm is that we don't outsource to any other country. All your information and all the work we do is all performed in the US on US soil. To me, the quality of work is always going to be better. It's done in the US, number one. Number two, your information isn't going overseas. So we're very happy to say that all the work, whether it's tax preparation, tax resolution, it's all done by our US-based team.
The firm that I originally worked with before working with 212 Tax, I felt like I was a number to them rather than a client. That didn't really sit too well with me, and I kind of felt that I would be lost in the shuffle of many other clients, and I don't feel that way with 212 Tax. Can't really probably emphasize this enough. The attention to customer service, their promptness, their approachability, compassion. Anybody can learn how to do taxes. So that's great. But being a successful business is being able to know how to work with people, and not everyone's the same.
Our prices reflect the level of highly personalized service and focused expertise that we provide. If you have any other questions about our pricing, please request a complimentary phone call.